Alright, so today I want to show you some of the ball pythons that I want to post up for sale over on Morph Market. And a lot of these are my holdbacks, the ones that I picked out this year that I was hoping to hold back to improve my collection and to use as future breeders. And I'd say pretty much the hardest part about breeding ball pythons is I go through this every single year. As I produce about 100 hatchlings, and I go through all the 100 hatchlings and I start picking out the ones that I want. It's, you know, it's kind of like Christmas presents, and you just want to pick out all these different snakes to use as future breeders. And then you get to the end of the year and I end up with anywhere from usually about 10 to 15 hatchlings that I want to keep as future breeders. And the problem is there's only so much room in my reptile room as far as empty space to put these snakes. And I got to the point where I really don't want to expand my collection to where I want to grow into like a whole warehouse of ball pythons. I pretty much want to just keep it contained to this one room. I can hold about 155 snakes here, and let me tell you, that's with 155 snakes, when all the tubs are full, when it's getting close, that is a lot of work just for one person to take care of all those snakes. So I kind of wanted just to keep it at that level. And as a matter of fact, if you actually look right behind me, I have 8 tubs in this ARS 5040 on the top row that I'm using for future breeders. So last year I kind of got in the same. Last year I think it was like 15 snakes that I wanted to hold back, and I was like, all right, this year I'm going to hold back just two every single year that I want to hold back as future breeders. And this year I was looking through the 10 holdbacks that I have, and I couldn't actually bring it down to just 2. So I'm actually gonna hold back 4 snakes, and it even breaks my heart to get rid of the ones that I'm going to post up for sale, because I really wanted to use those as future breeders. But the problem is if I hold back all those and fill up all my racks, I know next year I'm going to produce even better stuff. As a matter of fact, I actually held back some stuff last year, and this year I produced stuff that's even better, that kind of, you know, made the stuff last year look like I might even sell that eventually, which is kind of an interesting dilemma when you're breeding ball pythons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through first some of my holdbacks that I'm going to post over on Morph Market. Then I want to show you a few snakes. I think I have like 4 snakes left that I haven't posted on Morph Market yet that I'm intending to sell. As a matter of fact, I have I think it's a pinstripe het clown female that I haven't posted over there. So that's one of the ones, kind of get your attention on that one. And then what I want to do is all the snakes that I have that are still for sale over on Morph Market, I'm just going to do a quick tour of some of those. So if you're interested in buying one of those that's already posted on Morph Market, you can actually see what it looks like and get an updated weight and an updated appearance. Some of them can actually change from when they're hatchlings to their adults. So I want to start pulling snakes and show you some of this amazing stuff that I wish I could keep, but I'm going to post them over on Morph Market. Alright, so I'm going to start with a pair of snakes. This girl is actually named Mango. She is 263 grams. Look at how big she's getting already. And I'm actually going to sell this as a pair, 2 of these. These are, I guess you could call these magic snakes. You'll get some incredible combinations if you breed 2 of these magic snakes together. So this is actually a lesser triple het for albino, het for pied, and het for clown. And keep in mind the triple hets, so if you breed 2 triple hets together, you'll get albinos, you'll get pieds, you'll get clowns, you'll get clown pieds, you'll get albino clowns, you'll get albino pied clowns, you get all those genes all together if you breed those together. And then with the lesser mixed in, you'll also get 3 different kinds of white snakes from these too. So you get white snakes with black eyes, white snakes with blue eyes, and white snakes with red eyes. So you get a whole bunch of different combinations breeding 2 of these magic snakes together. So the white snake with the blue eyes, that is the super lesser with 2 copies of the lesser. The white snake with the black eye, that is actually a lesser pied with 1 copy of the lesser, 2 copies of the recessive pied. And then if you make the white snake with the red eyes, that is any of the white snakes with the addition of albino. The albino will give them red eyes. So on these, I'm actually holding back 1 female for myself. I have another male listed individually. on this one that if it doesn't sell, I might hold it back for myself. But I also have some other triple hets. I have 2 females and a male, just triple hets without the lesser. So this is adding to my triple het project. But yeah, so I'll actually list this as a pair, and then if you want them individually, I'll also put the price on those. I'll probably increase the price significantly if you just want one of these versus getting the pair. I think the power of this snake is really if you have 2 of them and breed them together. Otherwise, you don't get the real potential of these snakes. So this is the female. Let me show you what the male looks like. Alright, so this guy's name is Boss. He's another lesser triple het albino pied clown. And look what the triple het does to the pattern of the lesser. It really jumbles it up. Has a pretty clear pattern, a pretty clear belly, pretty crazy pattern. This one's going into shed, so it's definitely a little bit faded compared to the other ones. But after a shed, they're really bright. This one, he's pretty big already. Probably ready to breed almost. It's coming in at 306 grams in this guy. Pretty awesome Ball Python. Alright, so here's another one of my holdbacks. This girl's name is Slim. Let's see what she's coming in at. She's a really beautiful snake. She's coming in at 301 grams already. Getting pretty big. All my snakes are on frozen thawed rats and mice. Mostly rats with an occasional frozen thawed or fresh killed mouse. This one, look at how beautiful it is. I wanted to hold this one back just because of how awesome it is. This is actually a pastel pinstripe calico. Has the calico in with the lemon blast. And the reason I'm getting rid of this one is because I have another one that's just like this with the addition of bamboo in the mix. Although that one's a male, but if I breed that to some of my normals, I'll get some pretty awesome combinations. So I thought I'd put this one up for sale. You can only hold back so many snakes. This one is so cool. I've never actually produced one of these before, so that's one of the reasons I wanted to hold it back. But since I have the other one with the other gene, and it's a male, I can breed it to multiple females. I think that's the one I'm going to hold back. Alright, so take a look at this guy. I really wanted to hold on to this guy, but you can only hold back so many snakes. This guy's name is Dusty. He is a male. He is an Enchi Super Pastel Pinstripe. 100% het Desert Ghost. A really powerful breeder. This guy's coming in at, let's see who's coming in. 275 grams. He's doing great. This guy's eating some, they're actually on pretty big rats, so not too bad. So with the Super Pastel, everything you breed this to will be at least pastel, so you get no normals from this guy. Has Enchi, which really reduces the pattern. And Desert Ghost, if you breed this to a Desert Ghost, then you'll get 50% Desert Ghost. Everything will be pastel, so working pastel into Desert Ghost is probably the best thing I'd say that you can work into Desert Ghost. So that guy is going up for sale. Alright, here is Pluto. Pluto is a Super Pastel 100% het Desert Ghost male. Look at how big he's getting. This guy's getting really big and chunky. He is huge. Let's see what he weighs. I know you can breed males about 400 grams. This guy's 307, so another 100 grams and this guy will be ready to breed, which is pretty crazy. I absolutely love the Super Pastels. I really wanted to hold all these back, but it's the same every single year. You just can't hold back, you know, a dozen snakes every year and not have your collection kind of expand out of control. That's kind of the problem. And then the other thing too is, especially with the females, you're waiting on your females for 3 years versus if you already have females that are ready to breed too. So you have that kind of a lag too. You can only hold back so many. You don't want to get rid of all your breeder females. You want to kind of do it slowly so you still are productive and holding some stuff back too. But that guy is really awesome. Alright, so here is Magnum coming in at 417 grams. Look at how big she is. This is a female. And this actually came from my Coral Glow. I thought it was some kind of a dinker or a new gene, unusual gene or something like that. And it started out really super dark. I thought it was a dark gene coming from my pastel. And the more I look at it and the more I kind of read some comments as far as the videos and stuff like that, I'm thinking it's just a really dark pastel. So I actually still have the Coral Glow that I think might have an extra gene. There might be something in here. As a matter of fact, I was thinking it was maybe like Phantom or something. One of the dark blue-eyed leucistic genes, but I wasn't 100% sure. Could have something in there. It's definitely one of the darkest pastels. I'm pretty sure it's pastel at least in this guy. So I'm just gonna sell this girl as a pastel. She's getting pretty big too, pretty close to where, well, you know, with females they have to be at least 1,500 grams, but she definitely has a really good start. All right, so those were my 6 holdbacks that I decided to put up for sale. I should show you some of the 4 holdbacks that I'm actually gonna hold back, but that might make you jealous if I show you those. So I'm gonna move into some of the stuff that I just haven't had a chance to post these over on Morph Market. I think I have 4 snakes still. And this one, this guy's name is Smitty. This is a girl, a female pinstripe, 100% het clown. And this is one of my last clutches of the year. That's why it's a little bit smaller. Some of these are different sizes based on how they eat too. Yeah, kind of the interesting thing about this is this, for some reason, this girl was on live mice only for the longest time. And she recently just transitioned over and has eaten just a few frozen thawed and fresh killed mice. I don't think I've given her a rat yet. She's still on mice. And this last time she didn't eat her frozen thawed mouse. So I'm thinking on this one, if you buy this one, you may want to think about having a supply of live mice or at least frozen thawed mice. And if it gets stuck and this girl won't eat, she'll definitely eat live mice. That's kind of like candy to Boll Pythons. This one's been a little bit stubborn. That's kind of why I kind of hesitated to put it over on Morph Market, because sometimes if they're not on frozen thawed, I really don't like to put it over there. But this girl has eaten at least 3 or 4 frozen thawed mice. So she's doing pretty good. I feel confident enough to post this girl over on Morph Market. She's just a beautiful pinstripe. Pretty much one of my favorite genes. Pretty much the goldest snake, like a bright gold snake. Pretty awesome. All right, so I just weighed that pinstripe. She's coming in at 195 grams. I missed that when I was showing you that snake. So take a look at this one. This girl's name is River. River, let's see what she's coming in at. I gotta remember to weigh these. This one is 224 grams, and this is a normal 100% het clown female. And the problem with this girl is she's still the only snake out of 100 hatchlings, almost 100 hatchlings last year, that is still on live mice only. She will absolutely refuse every single time. I still have 3 clips on her tub indicating she's live only, and I don't think she's taken a single frozen thawed for whatever reason. Never really had that problem before, but she's a beautiful snake as long as you have a source of live mice. And you can try, as a matter of fact, every time I feed, I try to feed these frozen thawed first, and this girl absolutely refuses every single time. I don't know what's going on with her. But it's kind of weird that at this point in the game, at this kind of a weight, that she's still on live only. It's just kind of a weird anomaly. So I thought I'd throw that in there. You could buy this, but make sure you have a supply of live mice, at least starting out with this girl. All right, so here's another snake. This guy's name is Hope, and Hope is going into shed, it looks like, kind of fading out quite a bit. Hope is a male, possible het desert ghost, I'd say. Based on what I think is going on in my collection, I'd say this is probably 50% het desert ghost for this guy. Most people, they're looking for an inexpensive pet, they'll actually buy something like this. He's all twisted up. What's going on with him? What is going on? And he's going into a pretty deep shed. His eyes aren't blue yet. But let's see what he's coming in at. This is probably one of my least expensive snakes right here. Coming in at 258 grams. And usually with these normals, they have some interesting belly patterns, usually. So this guy's doing pretty well. This guy's on frozen thawed rats. No problem at all with this guy. Alright, so take a look at this snake. This girl's name is Thor. It's a female coming in at 222 grams. She is a normal, possible het desert ghost, I'd say. Probably 50% het desert ghost. And this is what they look like after they shed out. They should look like this as far as the last one that I just showed you. It'll end up kind of looking like this. And this is I usually sell these almost as much as a normal. So if you're looking for just a really inexpensive pet for your kids, this would be great. This one's also doing great. Well, all of them are on frozen thawed rats and mice, all except for those last two. One of them was kind of spotty. The other one is 100% live mice. But other than that, all my snakes in my entire collection are on frozen thawed rats. Alright, so this guy's name is Targus. He's coming in at 217 grams. This is a male coral glow, 100% het pied. As a matter of fact, I just posted two of these over on Morph Market, this one and another one, just maybe a week ago. And they both, I think this one sold, the other one sold right away, which is kind of crazy. And this one, I have someone talking about driving all the way like 4.5 hours to come and pick this guy up. So I'm pretty sure this one is sold, but if it falls through, you'll be second in line if you contact me about this one. This guy is doing great on frozen thawed rats and mice. And usually with these coral glows, you get a lot of these little freckles coming in. You get more and more freckles as they age and mature. And for some reason, with the coral glows and the bananas here in my collection, it seems like those two genes are the gentlest out of all my snakes. I've never had any of my coral glows ever try to snap at me or bite at me, which is pretty awesome. This guy has a really unique little spot right on the top of his head, which is, you usually don't see that on these coral glows, but this one definitely has it. Still has kind of a purplish color in the background too, which is pretty awesome. He's getting pretty big. Alright, so this is Fluffy coming in at 325 grams. She is a female, normal, possible het desert ghost. I think it's 50% het desert ghost on this one. Someone just asked me about this, but it's funny, on a lot of these snakes I get like maybe like 15 or 20 people just asking, you know, for some information, even though they're not serious about buying. Sometimes they'll buy them right away, and sometimes people just, with certain snakes, a lot of people just ask different questions about the shipping or different questions about the snake without actually buying, which is kind of interesting. Look at the crazy belly on this one. That one's really cool. Almost like there's something in there. Sometimes the normal bellies can be kind of interesting. Take a look at them. But this guy is really big. Look at how big she is. Really squirrely too. Where are you going, buddy? And all my snakes are super friendly. I don't think I've been snapped at once by any of these snakes, which is pretty awesome. Alright, so here is Noodle, another one of my magic snakes. This is a lesser triple head, but I'm just selling this one by itself. I produced a few of these this year, holding back at least one female. I was thinking about holding back 2 females and a male, but with everything I have going on here with all the other stuff, I actually produced a female albino pied, which I sold one year, and I kind of regret selling that one. So this year I'm like, that's the one I want to hold back. And then I produced a really cool bamboo combination. I just have so many snakes that I'm really looking forward to breeding that you just can't hold them all back. So this is another one of my crazy magic snakes. This one is coming in at 263 grams. Which is pretty awesome. It's doing great on frozen thawed rats, getting really big and chunky. Look at what the triple het does to the lesser pattern. This is just a regular lesser, but it's triple het for albino, pied, and clown. So it has one copy of all 3 recessive genes, and then they kind of influence the pattern and the stripe. Look at the stripe right down the back. That's probably from the influence of the triple. Usually your lessers don't have that strong of a stripe, and usually they have a little bit more of kind of like a floating alien head pattern on the side versus it being all broke up like that. But that is a really crazy looking snake. Alright, so here is Elastica. Thank you for picking names. I actually asked people in the audience to pick a bunch of names for my snakes, and I actually added Elastica here just last year to my list of hatchling names that I pick out of the jar. This guy is a male, normal, 100% het clown. And let's see what he's coming in at. 225, and this guy, well, some of them I actually just fed, and some of them need to eat. Like this guy, it's definitely feeding day for this guy. You can tell they kind of thin out a little bit, and they get a little bit more squirrely, it seems like, when they're ready to eat. But you can actually tell on this, the influence of one copy of the recessive clown really brings out the brightness, and you get a lot brighter of a snake with one copy of the clown. As a matter of fact, I produced a lot of different het clown stuff this year. From my banana inchy clown, I bred it to a whole bunch of stuff, and everything that was het clown came out really super bright. Even my pinstripes, they came out super bright gold, which is pretty awesome. Alright, so take a look at this guy. His name is Destroyer, coming in at 332 grams. This guy is a male, normal, 50% het desert ghost. I just noticed he's got a little bit of shed stuck there, which is kind of unusual here in my reptile room because the humidity is like almost 60%. And then I add humidity to the tubs too. So every now and then I'll get a stuck shed. I need to bring this guy up to the sink, and usually just a little dunk in the warm water and just kind of working on them a little bit with my finger. Usually pull just a little bit of shed off right there. But essentially, all these possible hets, the normals, I just sell them pretty much as the price of a normal. This guy's getting big and chunky already. The problem on these is, with an inexpensive snake, people ask what the shipping is, and a lot of times the shipping is close to the price of the snake, depending on where they live. So, at a reptile show, these usually sell fast, but when you're shipping them, a lot of times these are the last to sell just because the shipping looks like a lot compared to the price of the snake. Alright, so here is Snoopy coming in at 341 grams. He is a male, normal, 100% het desert ghost, which is pretty awesome. And as far as I know, there's really no markers for desert ghost, one copy of the desert ghost. You really can't tell other than the breeding. Look at that crazy belly on this guy. As a matter of fact, there's a reptile show coming up here in Colorado just in a few weeks. I was tempted to bring some of these snakes over to the reptile show, which if some of these don't sell, I may actually go to a reptile show, which I haven't sold at a reptile show for years. But these guys are getting so big and they're so cheap too. So, at a local reptile show, I'm sure these guys would sell really fast. Alright, so here is Soba. Soba is a male Enchi, 100% het clown. And let's see how much this guy weighs here. It's coming in at 274 grams. And it looks like he's going into shed a little bit because usually he's super bright. With the influence of the het clown and the Enchi, usually it's a lot brighter than this. You can definitely tell it's going into shed. And that's kind of the hard thing, is showing off snakes when they're in shed, because a lot of times they'll fade out and they won't look as impressive as when they're fresh out of a shed. But the Enchi, essentially what that does is it really reduces the pattern. A lot of times the Enchi will bring out a lot of the brightness in a lot of your combinations. And then the Super Enchi, if you have two copies of the Enchi, it'll really reduce the pattern. So one copy pretty much gets rid of most of your alien heads and kind of jumbles up the pattern. This one almost looks like a spider pattern, which is pretty cool. Sometimes you'll actually get that. Although I know 100% sure this has no spider. And if you actually mix Enchi with a lot of your brightening genes, sometimes you can even brighten them even more. So like Pastel and Orange Dream or Fire, you can make some really bright stuff if you mix Enchi in with a lot of those genes. All right, so take a look at this snake. This guy's name is Bobble, coming in at 243 grams. This is definitely one of my favorite combinations. Take a look at that. That is a beauty. This is actually a banana enchi pinstripe, 100% het clown, which is pretty awesome. Absolutely love the banana combinations, especially with the pinstripe and the enchi. Makes for a really impressive combination. I'd say probably maybe, I don't know, about 12 or 15 people have actually asked me about this snake, but no one has bought it. Someone said that if no one buys it here in a couple weeks, they're going to buy it. So I don't know. This is probably one of my favorite snakes that I produced this year, which is pretty awesome. And this is actually a male maker, so if you breed it to something else, all of the banana offspring will all be males. Most of them, I'd say 99% will be males. I actually had a female this year. It's one of my holdbacks. It almost looks exactly like this. It's a female banana pinstripe without the enchi. And then I'll get some female makers. So then I'll have both male makers and female makers. And I'll be able to work all my genes into the banana project, which would be pretty awesome. All right, so take a look at this one. This is kind of an interesting combination. This is Slayer. He's a male. Let's see what Slayer's coming in at here. It's coming in at 334 grams. And you can tell by his color, it's either a banana or a coral glow. This one is coral glow. You always get the yellow color from the coral glows and the bananas. This one also has pastel and pinstripe. So this is a lemon blast with the addition of coral glow. I don't know if you can really capture the beauty of the pattern underneath. It's got a really interesting pattern. You can definitely see the pastel and the pinstripe in the kind of the hidden pattern. And then this one's also 50% het pied because it came from a coral glow that was 100% het pied. So this has a 50% chance of containing one copy of the pied gene. And of course, as with all my coral glows and bananas, they're really super friendly. This one's getting quite a few spots coming in, which is kind of surprising because sometimes the pinstripe will actually reduce the number of spots in the speckling, the kind of the freckles all over the snake. These are really, really getting big. I can't believe how big this snake is getting. All right, so this is the last one I want to show you. This guy's name is Cooper, coming in at 201 grams. He's actually a banana pinstripe, 100% het clown. And all my bananas and coral glows, they're all male makers. So they'll all make male offspring that are coral glows or bananas. And it's kind of weird. When I first got into the coral glows and the bananas, I thought all the banana offspring would be males, and then the non would be actually a mix of males and females, because I initially started getting some males and females on my first clutches from the coral glows and the bananas. Come to find out, I was looking at my records, it seemed like almost every single time when I breed a snake like this that's a male maker, pretty much almost 100%, I'd say virtually all 100% of the coral glows or bananas will all come out males. And most of the non-coral glows will come out as females. I'd say maybe like 95%. It seems like every now and then I've had a few males kind of slip through that are non-coral glows, but I'd say most people will say that all the non-coral glows produced from this guy will all be females, which is kind of an interesting anomaly with these. I absolutely love, you can actually see the little kind of scrunched together alien heads from the pinstripe. You can definitely see a really strong influence from the pattern of the pinstripe, and the strong influence from the color of the coral glow. And these guys usually have pretty black eyes and a pretty clear belly. You can see right there. Really good looking snake. All right, so this is the last one. And that is all my hatchlings that I have left from 2021. So in about another month here, I'll have some more eggs hatching from 2022. I have my first clutch about halfway through the incubation cycle of albinos, and they're all looking really good. Albino 100% het pies, which would be my first ones for 2022. All right, so thanks for watching. I'll put a link for Morph Market underneath this video if you're interested in any of these snakes. If you don't see them over there yet, I'll try to post as much as I can before this video actually releases tomorrow morning. If you don't see it over there, you might want to look at my sold snakes to see if any of them are sold. And if they're not under the for sale or the sold, I just haven't posted them over there yet. So there's kind of delay. I have to take some good pictures, figure out the prices, put them all on Morph Market, and get all that together. I'll get some of them over tonight. I'll try to get most of them in the morning before this video actually posts. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.